This poor senior dog waited all day for his family to come home after they had moved out and left him behind. But when night fell and there were still no footsteps, he knew in his old dog heart that he would never see them again. Most people think that moving is an exciting adventure filled with lots of fun and new experiences. And while it can be, especially if you're young, it's not so fun when you're already getting up in years. Moving requires a lot of physical effort, like carrying boxes, furniture, and other stuff. And dogs don't have the ability to help out. He laid on the floor, looking out the window, waiting to see their car drive up the street. But every time the sound of a car pulling into the driveway made him hopeful, it turned out to be just some random person who was checking out the abandoned house. Days turned into weeks, and the dog began to lose hope. She was shocked when she saw how skinny he was. As soon as the dog saw the woman, he started wagging his tail and hoped she would come closer. When the vet examined him, he said that he was in pretty bad shape. He's severely underweight and has a heart murmur, the vet said. I'm not sure how much longer he'll live, but we Regan now do everything we can to make sure he is comfortable for whatever time he has left. Hey boy, the woman said softly, are you lost? The dog barked once, then licked her hand. The vet said, you're going to have to make a decision about whether or not to put him down. The woman was heartbroken, but she knew that it was the best thing to do. She didn't want Buddy to suffer anymore. He didn't want to hurt her, but he was so hungry that he tried to snatch the dog food right out of her bag. She let him run and play as much as he wanted. I love you, Buddy, the woman whispered. I'll miss you. She was so grateful that she had found him and taken care of him for the last few months of his life. At least he hadn't spent his final days alone and scared. Buddy barked once, then closed his eyes for the last time. She also threw his favorite ball for him and watched as he chased after it. With a little bit of kindness and compassion, we can make a big difference in the life of an animal. And don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. He spent his days sleeping and eating whatever he could find in the trash cans outside. At night, he curled up on the porch and dreamed of a warm fire and a big bowl of food. He missed his family terribly and wished that they would come back for him. When we abandon or mistreat animals, we're not only hurting them physically, but emotionally as well. Pets bring us so much joy and happiness, and they become part of our families. That's why it's so heartbreaking when a pet is abandoned or mistreated. No one came for him. He didn't understand why his family had left him behind. They probably thought that they were doing what was best for him. But in the end, it was Buddy, his loving owner, who made sure that he had a comfortable and happy life until the very end. The little dog couldn't have imagined how unhappy he would be when his family decided to leave him in their old house and start a new life without him. She felt bad for him because he looked like he hadn't eaten in days. By adopting Buddy, she gave him a second chance at a happy life and find them a new home where they'll be loved and cherished. Don't let them spend their golden years alone and scared. And by taking care of him until his dying day, she showed him what it meant to be loved. So she took the dog home with her and fed him some delicious dog food. She gave him a soft bed to sleep on and plenty of food and water to eat. Buddy was grateful for the woman's kindness and loved spending his days napping and eating. She also gave him a warm place to sleep and some fresh water to drink. That's why sometimes when families move, senior dogs are left behind in the old home with the hope that someone will adopt them. He also seemed to be in a lot of pain when he walked. The woman took him to the vet right away. When the vet examined Buddy, he told the woman that Buddy had cancer and that it had spread to his bones. Sadly, some people even abandon their pets before moving because they think it is too much trouble to take care of them. And that's exactly what happened to this poor old dog. He gained some weight and his heart murmur wasn't as bad as before. He loved going on walks with the woman and playing fetch in the backyard. He also enjoyed getting belly rubs and ear scratches from the woman. She was the best pet parent he could have asked for. His family had moved out and left him in their old house. They must not have cared about him at all. It made him very sad that he couldn't go inside and look for something to eat. Every evening he laid down on the porch and looked up at the sky, wondering where his family was. Was anyone thinking about him? Did they miss him? These questions kept him going and gave him hope that someday they would come back and take him with them. The dog only had a small amount of food and water left in his bowl. Then it started to run out, and he became weaker and weaker. He hadn't realized it, but he was starving. Otherwise, they wouldn't have treated him like garbage. The dog stayed in the empty house for several days, hoping that his family would return. For the first few days, he could still hear noises coming from inside the house. Sometimes he could even smell food. Every morning, he went outside to do his business on the lawn. He didn't know how long he'd been alone. One day, a woman walking her dog spotted the old pooch and couldn't resist stopping to say hi. The woman gasped when she saw how skinny and dirty the dog was. The next morning, she got up early and took the dog to the vet. The woman named the dog Buddy and took him home with her. As the weeks passed, Buddy started to feel better. One day, Buddy wasn't feeling well. He threw up his food and couldn't keep any of it down. "I'm sorry, but there's nothing we can do at this point." Before she took Buddy to be euthanized, she took him on one last walk in the park. When it was time to go home, Buddy laid his head on the woman's lap and looked up at her with his big brown eyes. The woman cried as she hugged Buddy goodbye. If you've ever had a pet, then you know how special the bond between human and animal can be. In Buddy's case, his family didn't mean to hurt him by leaving him behind. It's important to remember that animals are living beings and they feel emotions just like we do. They need love, care, and attention to thrive. Thankfully, there are people in this world who care about animals and are willing to stand up for them. This woman is one of those people. So if you're ever in a situation where you can't take care of your pet anymore, please do the right thing. Buddy's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments below.
A boy passed away, and his dog kept bringing his leash to his door every single day, not realizing that he would never come back. The dog just kept waiting patiently for his owner to return with him for a walk in the park. He didn't understand why his owner wasn't coming back, and so he did something no one expected. Every time this dog saw a human, he thought it was his owner. At least that's what it seemed like. The dog just kept waiting patiently by the door for his owner to return. After all, they had been best friends since the dog was a puppy. The bond between them was unbreakable. They would go on walks together every single day. He would wag his tail and bark excitedly, hoping that his owner would come back. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months, the dog started to lose weight. "Look at that crazy dog," said one of the kids. She threw the ball and the dog chased after it and brought it back to her. They played fetch until the dog was exhausted, and then he went inside the house to rest. "He's been doing that every day for months." "Of course," said her mother. "He looks like he needs some exercise." The little girl put a leash on the dog and they all went to the park. The dog looked up and saw a little girl looking at him curiously. She had long blonde hair and big blue eyes. He would look around the room, hoping that his owner would be there, but he was never there. "Do you want to play with me?" she asked. The dog wagged his tail and barked happily. Finally, someone wanted to play with him. "We have a big yard and you can run around in it all day." He finally had a new home and a new family. The dog was a little shy at first, but the family welcomed him with open arms. They gave him lots of love and attention, and he quickly became part of the family. He would never forget about his owner, but he knew that it was time to move on. He never forgot about his owner, but he knew that he was in a good place now. The dog barked again, but this time he was sad. "We'd like to ask you something," said the woman. "Would you like to come live with us? We have a big yard, and you can play with our dog all day." The little girl's face lit up. "Really?" she asked. "Yes," said the woman. "We'd love to have you." The woman and the little girl looked at each other and knew what they had to do. She had never had a dog of her own before, and she couldn't wait to start playing with him. From that day on, the little girl lived with the woman and the dog. They became best friends, and they had many adventures together. The dog stopped and watched her as she walked away. He had a loving family who took care of him, and he was no longer lonely, and so the dog lived a happy life with his new family. always remembering his owner with a heavy heart, but also knowing that he was in a better place now. The dog had seen many little girls since he had lived with the woman and the little girl, but this one was different. Something about her reminded him of his owner. He had a loving family who took care of him, and he was no longer lonely. The dog wagged his tail and barked happily. He would love to live with the woman and the little girl. They had become his best friends, and he loved them both very much. "Oh, you poor thing," she said. "You've been through a lot, haven't you?" The dog looked up at her and wagged his tail. He liked the woman. She was always kind to him, and he could tell that she cared about him. His fur became matted, and he started to look like a stray animal. But still, he never gave up hope. But deep down, he knew that it was futile. The woman and the little girl came to the door and asked what was wrong. "Look," said the dog, pointing his nose toward the little girl. The woman and the little girl followed the dog's gaze and saw the little girl walking away. She would come out and play with him every day and give him treats and water. The dog loved the little girl, but he never forgot about his owner. He still missed him every day and still hoped that he would come back for him one day. He was just a dog after all, and his owner would never come back for him. One of the friends had a dog just like the little girl's. The two dogs started playing together, and soon the little girl's dog was feeling better. He had made a new friend and he was no longer lonely. "It's time to go, honey," she said. "We're going to the park." The little girl looked at the dog and felt bad for him. He had been living in the house for months now, and he had never been to the park. But when his owner didn't return, the dog would become sad and dejected. However, he never gave up hope. They would play fetch in the park and go swimming in the lake. He had been living in the house for so long that he had forgotten how to socialize with other dogs. The little girl noticed that he was sad, and she went over to comfort him. "Don't worry," she said. "I'll play with you." And she did. They played fetch and frisbee until the dog was exhausted. Then they went home. The two of them were inseparable, and the dog couldn't wait to see his owner again. There were kids playing and laughing, and a woman was hanging some clothes on the line. The dog stopped and watched them curiously, wondering if they could help him find his owner. The dog waited and waited, but his owner never returned. So after a few months, the dog started to slowly lose hope, but his loyalty to his owner never faded. The dog kept hoping that his owner would come back for him one day. So the dog started bringing his owner's leash to his door every morning. The dog kept waiting patiently by the door for his owner to return. One day, the dog was bringing the leash to his owner's door as usual, but he noticed that there was a new family living in the house. As the weeks passed, the dog continued to bring the leash to the door, hoping against hope that his owner would come back. One day, the dog was bringing the leash to the door when he heard some voices. The little girl went inside the house and came out with a ball. From that day on, the little girl became the dog's best friend. One day, the little girl was playing with the dog when she heard her mother calling her. "Can we take the dog with us?" she asked. When the dog saw all the other dogs playing, he wanted to join them, but he was too shy. The next day, the little girl and her mother went to the park again, but this time they brought some other friends. But he still missed his owner. Every night before he went to sleep, he would go to his owner's room and lay down on his bed. One day, the little girl's mother came into the dog's room and saw him laying on the bed. "You know," she said, "you don't have to stay here anymore. You can come live with us at our house." The woman picked up the dog and hugged him. "Come on, let's go home," she said. The dog was so happy. The woman and the little girl took the dog home and introduced him to the rest of the family. The dog lived with the woman and the little girl for many years. One day, the dog was playing in the yard when he saw a little girl walking by. The dog ran to the door and barked excitedly. "That's the little girl from next door," said the woman. "She comes over to play with us sometimes." They went to the little girl's house and introduced themselves. The little girl hugged the woman and the dog and thanked them. The dog never forgot about his owner, but he knew that he was in a good place. Now,
it is not always easy being a dog. There are so many bad things that can happen to them. Many of them end up homeless on the side of the streets. But luckily for dogs like Charlie, there are people out there who are willing to help them. He was just 7 weeks old at the time. She found him wandering around the streets. It broke her heart to see such a young puppy alone on the streets, so she offered him some food and water. After eating and drinking, he wagged his tail and licked her hand. That was when Tracy knew she had to take him home. "Hi, everyone." Every day she worked hard to gain his trust and spent time comforting him whenever he felt anxious or scared. Slowly but surely, Charlie began to trust her more and more. This meant that he couldn't really enjoy his walks in the park or greet other people. And of course, this made Tracy sad. He began to open up to her and showed her how much love he has in his heart. And of course, she loved him back. At home, she already had 3 other rescue dogs, but she had plenty of love and care to give to Charlie, too. His fur became shinier, and his eyes sparkled with joy. They became best friends, and Tracy promised herself that she would do everything she could to make Charlie's life as happy as possible. As the other dogs ran through the course, Charlie watched intently. He could tell that they were having fun, and that made him even more excited to try. They couldn't believe it. They had never competed against other dogs before and didn't know what to expect. They were so proud of Charlie and all the progress he had made since they first met. Charlie basked in the attention and wagged his tail furiously as he received his trophy and a big bag of treats. Charlie would bark excitedly and wag his tail proudly. He knew he had accomplished something great, and he wasn't afraid to show off a little. But Charlie's hard work and dedication had paid off. When it was his turn, Charlie and Tracy took a deep breath and began the course. Without her kindness and patience, he may have never become the successful dog he is today. We have lots of funny and heartwarming videos that you and your family will love. Charlie's story is a true testament to the power of love and determination. Click on the video on the screen now to continue watching. We appreciate your support and hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. This was something that neither of them had ever done before, but they were both excited to try it out. He jumped over the hurdles with ease, ran through the tunnels without hesitation, and even managed to keep his composure when he had to weave in and out of the poles. All the spectators cheered him on, and Tracy couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. When they arrived at the course, Charlie was a bit nervous, but Tracy reassured him and told him that everything would be all right. Everyone in town knew about the amazing dog who had gone from being chained up all day to winning first place in an agility competition. She didn't know what kind of dog he was, and as he grew, he became bigger and stronger. He might have started out as a scared and lonely puppy, but now he was an important member of the community. He had a loving owner and countless friends who cheered him on at every turn. Soon it was clear that he was a mix between a husky and a German shepherd. She invited some friends over to their house and tried to introduce Charlie to them. Charlie's journey from a scared puppy to an award-winning dog is an inspiration to us all. It shows us that with hard work, dedication, and a lot of love, anything is possible. Finally, Charlie was able to go to the park and play with other dogs. He also began to enjoy car rides and even got along well with cats. He could finally bark at squirrels and run after balls without being afraid. Of course, at first he was very shy and hid behind Tracy's legs, and Tracy was so proud of how far he had come. But slowly but surely, he began to come out of his shell and even wagged his tail at some of the guests. Welcome back to our channel, where we share with you the cutest and funniest videos of dogs. Today, we will meet an amazing dog who went from being chained up all day to winning first place in an agility competition. With his strong body and quick mind, he learned the courses quickly and was able to finish them faster than most of the other dogs. This made Tracy incredibly happy, and she knew she finally gave Charlie the life he deserved. Our story today takes us to South Africa, where we will meet Charlie. Charlie was found by a woman named Tracy Kutlaw. Unfortunately, this was not the first dog Tracy had saved. As soon as she could, Tracy took him to the vet for a checkup. Luckily, Charlie was in perfect health. The vet told Tracy that because of his size and strength, Charlie needed a job. Otherwise, he would be at risk of getting into trouble. So Tracy started taking him to dog training classes. That's when she realized that Charlie was a natural at agility competitions. At home, though, there were still a few things Charlie needed to learn. He had no manners when it came to eating. If Tracy didn't serve him quickly enough, he would startle her by eating her food right out of her bowl. But the thing that bothered her the most was that Charlie was still afraid of people. Because of his rough start in life, he was very wary of new faces, and often hid behind Tracy's legs when someone new came over. Of course, Tracy wanted to fix that. She understood that Charlie needed to learn that not all humans are bad. She knew that every day that passed, Charlie was becoming happier and healthier. But there was still one big problem. Despite all of the progress he had made, Charlie was still very afraid of other people. One day, Tracy decided that it was time for Charlie to socialize with other people. This made Tracy's heart melt. She could tell that Charlie was finally ready to live a normal dog life. After a few months of hard work, Charlie had become a completely different dog. He was happy, confident, and full of energy. After seeing how well Charlie was doing, Tracy decided to take him on an agility course. And then it was time for the competition to begin. As they moved through the different obstacles, it became clear that Charlie was a natural. They finished the course successfully, and to their surprise, they won first place. After the competition, Tracy and Charlie were showered with love and congratulations from everyone. He had never felt so loved and appreciated before. From that day on, Charlie became a local hero. Every week, when the local newspaper was delivered, Tracy would read it to Charlie, pointing out the article and pictures about him. But more importantly, Charlie knew that he was loved. His story is a reminder that no matter how difficult a dog's life may be, they can always find happiness and success with the right support and training. Thanks to Tracy for giving Charlie the chance at a happy life. If you enjoyed watching this touching video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more amazing dog content. Now it's time to meet another adorable dog.
The rain poured down in torrents, creating loud drumming sounds on the pavement. In the middle of this concrete jungle, there was a small alleyway that was completely soaked by the heavy downpour. There was no light in this place at all. He had been here for several days already, trying to stay out of sight, hoping someone would take pity on him and give him some food or water. He hadn't meant to get into this situation. It all happened so fast. One minute he was running through the park with his friends, chasing squirrels and having the time of his life. And the next minute, he was trapped in this dark, scary alley. He looked around with his big, soulful eyes, but no one was coming. Everything was dark and dirty. This place smelled like garbage and despair. It was the perfect place to hide. He lifted his head and looked toward the sound, his tail giving a small, hopeful wag. Maybe someone was coming to help him. Maybe he would be okay after all. He closed his eyes, trying to block out the sounds of the city. All he could think about was how much he wanted to go home, to be with his family, to feel their love and affection. He felt himself slipping away. He was so weak, he could barely move. His breathing was shallow and his heart was beating slowly. He licked the man's hand and followed him out of the alley. The loneliness, the cold. But he was grateful to be away from there. He laid down, trying to make himself small, hoping the darkness would swallow him whole. He heard the sound of a whistle. He opened his eyes and saw a man standing over him. The man knelt down and held out his hand. He knew he'd never forget the kindness shown to him by the man and the vet. Come on, the vet gave him food and water and medicine for his wounds. Then he took him home. Oh boy. It's time to go, he said softly. His owner would hold him close, scratching him behind the ears and telling him how much she loved him. He missed those days. He missed his owner. As night fell, the temperature dropped. He shivered, pulling his thin little body into a tight ball to try and keep warm. And in the far corner, curled up into a ball, was a dog. When he realized he couldn't get out, he started to panic. He barked and yelped, hoping his owner would come and save him. But no one came. He was only a puppy, just 8 months old. You see, the day before, while playing, he ran after a ball and ended up in this place. But he didn't have any friends or family nearby. No one was coming to save him. The dog lived a happy life. He played with other dogs, went on long walks, and most of all, he loved being with his new owner. He knew he was lucky to have found such a kind, caring person who had saved his life. After a while, he stopped making noise. Then he remembered a story his mother had told him once about how dogs in the wild huddle together for warmth when it's cold. As the night wore on, he felt weaker and weaker. He whimpered softly, his big brown eyes filled with sadness. The rain continued to fall, mixing with his tears, making him even colder. In the distance, he heard the sound of footsteps. The footsteps stopped at the entrance to the alley. A man's voice could be heard. "Hey man, you got any money?" Another man's voice replied, "Sorry, I don't have any change right now." The footsteps moved away and the voices faded into the distance. He was all alone. When he was a puppy, as the hours passed, then suddenly the dog hesitated for a moment, then slowly got to his feet. As they walked down the street, the dog looked back at the dark alley. He would never forget his time there. The fear. The man took him to a vet to get checked out. The dog was so happy to be in a warm, safe place. He loved being petted and scratched. From that day on.
Hello, everyone. This is the heartbreaking story of a puppy who was left in a cardboard box in the pouring rain. Fortunately, he was discovered by a woman who immediately rushed him home and fostered him. The puppy was very small and couldn't even walk yet. He spent several weeks under the care of the woman who fed him milk every 3 hours. And slowly but surely, he began to get stronger. When the puppy was old enough, he was adopted by another family. They were very happy to have him and loved him very much. But they soon realized that he had separation anxiety. Every time they left the house, he would start barking and wouldn't stop until they came back. They rushed to the vet, and when they saw their dog, they couldn't believe how much he had grown. They also made sure to spend more time with him so he wouldn't get bored or lonely. This is because he knows that that's where he spent his first days alive, and it reminds him of how lucky he is to have a loving family now. He is a big, strong dog who is always by his family's side. He is very loyal and loving and knows how to make everyone smile. Buddy is the best dog a family could ask for, and they are so grateful to have him in their lives. The dog was very grateful for his second chance and lived a happy life for many years. He is a true survivor and an inspiration to us all. His story is a reminder that no matter how tough things may seem, we should never give up hope. The dog was also very happy to see them and wagged his tail furiously. This went on for months, and they tried everything to stop it, but nothing worked. For some people, that may be their faith. For others, it may be their family or friends. For me, it's definitely my dogs. I can't imagine my life without them. They bring me so much joy and happiness, and I love them dearly. One day, the family decided to take the dog to the park. They thought that maybe he would be able to play and have fun, and this would make him feel better. They looked everywhere for him, but he was nowhere to be found. They put up posters all around the neighborhood and asked people if they had seen him, but no one had. The family was heartbroken. They didn't know what to do. But when they arrived at the park, their worst nightmare happened. The dog suddenly bolted and ran away. He was very scared and didn't know where to go. He missed his family and wanted to go home, but he didn't know the way. The family was devastated. Meanwhile, the dog was wandering around the streets trying to find food. Just when he thought all hope was lost, he was spotted by a woman who immediately took him in. She gave him water and food, and then took him to a vet to check him up. The vet found a microchip and was able to contact the dog's previous owner. When the family heard that their dog had been found, they were overjoyed. The family took the dog home and gave him the love and attention he needed. Now, whenever the dog sees a cardboard box, he gets very emotional. The dog's name is Buddy, and he is now the family's protector. It is amazing to see how far Buddy has come since being that little puppy in a cardboard box. What's the most important thing in your life? I hope you enjoyed Buddy's story. If you did, please share it with your friends. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.
This heartwarming story is about a dog who waited 365 days in an old house for his family to return and take him home forever. The dog's name is Tiger. He is an adorable golden retriever who became an internet sensation a few years ago after his heartbreaking story touched the hearts of people all over the world. When they got to the house, they found the dog hiding under the bed. It said, "We are so sorry, Tiger. We have no other option at this moment. Please wait for us. We will be back for you." It was clear that the family loved Tiger very much, but they had no other choice but to leave him behind. Tiger spent his days playing with the other dogs at Hope and his nights sleeping in a cozy bed. The staff at Hope loved him and gave him all the attention and care he needed. There were 3 people in the car, and one of them was holding a familiar-looking leash. They hugged and pet him and told him how much they missed him. They had never stopped thinking about him and had come back to get him as soon as they could. Tiger was overjoyed. He had waited 365 days for this moment, and now his dream had finally come true. It was Tiger's leash. The people got out of the car and walked towards Tiger. "Hello," they said. "Are you Tiger?" Tiger barked excitedly and ran towards them, wagging his tail. He couldn't believe it. His family was really back for him. The dog was scared at first, but when the people from the animal charity approached him, he wagged his tail and licked their hands. Every day he would look out the window and wait for their return. He lived with his family and was loved every single day. His story touched the hearts of people around the world and showed them the importance of never giving up hope. Tiger's story also reminds us that even if we have to say goodbye to our pets for a while, the bond we share is eternal, and no matter how long we're apart, we'll be reunited someday. Then one day, a car pulled up outside. Hope and Tiger's heart started racing. Could it be? Was his family finally back for him? He was so happy to see some friendly faces, but they never did. He started to lose hope that they would ever come back. However, the people from the animal charity promised Tiger that he would find a new home where he would be loved just as much as his previous one. They named the place Hope, and they brought Tiger there. It all started when a local animal charity in South Africa received a call from someone who lived in a small village. They told the charity that they had to leave their home and that they could untake their beloved dog with them. It was heartbreaking, but they promised the dog's family that they would return for him as soon as possible. But sadly, that never happened. The poor dog was left behind in the old house, all alone and waiting for his family to come back for him. Luckily, the animal charity called Paws Animal Rescue arrived quickly and were able to take the dog out of the house. Before it was too late, the dog's family had left a note for him on the kitchen counter. Sadly, the people from the animal charity had to break the news to Tiger's family that they wouldn't be able to come back for him because the house had already been sold. The new owners were moving in the next day, and they didn't want a dog. This meant that Tiger would never see his family again, unless they came back for him. Every day, Tiger would sit by the window and wait for his family to return. At first, Tiger was hesitant to trust the people at Hope, but they were patient and kind, and eventually he warmed up to them. 1 year went by, and Tiger still hadn't given up hope of being reunited with his family. When the car door opened, Tiger's tail started wagging furiously. The family and Tiger were so happy to see each other again. From that day on, Tiger never had to wait again.
A stray dog who was once desperate for food and water has become a hero after being saved by a kind woman. In 2016, a Good Samaritan named Laura found a stray dog wandering around the neighborhood. At first, the dog didn't trust her, but eventually he warmed up to her enough to take some food and water. Laura continued to leave food and water out every day in the hopes that she could gain his trust and get him to come closer. She also started working with animal control to try to trap him so she could get him the help he needed. Laura knew she had to do something to help the dog. So she called the police and told them to come over and take him off the streets. But because he hadn't been socialized with humans, he was extremely fearful and spent most of his time hiding. So she continued to work with him, and eventually he became a certified therapy dog. But when they arrived, the dog ran away before the officers could get close enough to catch him. He loved playing fetch and swimming in the water, and it was clear that he was making great progress. Search and rescue dogs are specially trained to find people trapped in rubble, and Radar's keen sense of smell and bravery made him perfect for the job. Finally, Radar's hard work paid off when he found a young boy trapped under a pile of debris. But for Laura, the recognition wasn't about the accolades. It was about knowing that she had helped save a life. But with patience, love, and training, he became a hero. The boy was rushed to the hospital, and thanks to Radar's quick actions, he made a full recovery. And then she started working with a professional dog trainer to help him overcome his fears. After several attempts, they finally managed to catch the dog and take him to a local shelter, where he was given a clean bill of health and checked for a microchip. A young girl had fallen off the monkey bars and was crying and unable to get back up. Their story is a reminder that even the most scared and lonely animals can become heroes if given the chance. Laura immediately went to help, and with Radar close behind, she was able to calm the girl down. Not only is he a good boy, but he's also a hero who saved a life. I think we can all learn from Radar's example. No matter what challenges we face, we should never give up hope. With hard work, determination, and a little bit of love, we can achieve anything. It was clear that the dog needed a lot of work, but luckily, Laura didn't give up on him. She adopted him and named him Rada. If you enjoyed it, please do forget to hit the like button and subscribe, so you never miss another adventure of our channel. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, a dog is a man's best friend. As Rada began to trust Laura more, she took him on walks in the park and even started taking him to the beach. But Laura knew that Rada was still a little too scared of people to be around children. They continued to do therapy work together, visiting hospitals and nursing homes to spread joy to those in need. Then one day, Laura and Rada were at the park when they heard a shout. From that day forward, Laura and Radar were inseparable. And then one day, their lives changed forever. Laura and Radar were part of a search and rescue operation after a building collapsed in their town. Despite the danger, Laura and Radar worked tirelessly for days, searching for survivors. Laura and Radar were hailed as heroes, and Radar was especially praised for his bravery and intelligence. When she found Radar, he was nothing more than a stray dog, hungry and afraid of humans. Today, Radar is still working as a search and rescue dog, and he and Laura continue to bring joy to people's lives through their therapy work. If you're like me, you probably already knew that dogs are amazing. But stories like Radar's just reinforce how incredible they can be. I want to send a big thank you to everyone who watched this video.
Surprise parties aren't just for people. This adorable pup got the surprise of a lifetime when his community threw him a huge birthday bash. The heartwarming story was shared by one of the dog-ass owners who took to social media to express her gratitude. The adorable Pooch is a golden doodle who lives with his 2 humans and 2 kiddos in Indiana. There were colorful balloons everywhere, even some that spelled out happy birthday in big, bold letters. The whole place looked like a winter wonderland. Every year, the family takes their furry friend out for his birthday. But this year was a little different. You can see the joy and excitement in the dog's eyes. And yesterday, the love and appreciation was absolutely shown back to him. Thank you, Carriage House, for the incredible setup. We are so grateful. He couldn't believe how many people showed up to celebrate his special day. The post immediately went viral with more than 46,000 likes and 1,700 comments. Let's wish him all the best and thank him for being an excellent therapy dog. As we can see, someone went all out with the decorations. They're often used in hospitals, nursing homes, and schools to help people cope with difficult situations. He is clearly a beloved member of his community, and his hard work as a therapy dog has paid off in a big way. Whether it's a furry friend or a human hero, a simple act of kindness can go a long way. These dogs are truly amazing. Not only do they make us feel better, but they also bring joy and laughter into our lives. As therapy dogs, these 4-legged friends provide comfort and support to those who need it the most. What's your favorite thing about therapy dogs? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more feel-good stories like this one. Thanks for watching. They have a natural ability to sense when someone is feeling down, and they are always there to lend a furry ear and a wagging tail. But that wasn't all. Someone made a beautiful custom cake for the 4-legged friend. It had a lovely chocolate frosting and even a candle. Everyone was there to show their love and appreciation for the amazing job he does as a therapy dog. I love that someone did this for a therapy dog. They really do deserve all the love and treats. And lastly, one person said, "This is amazing. I love how the community came together to make this happen for him. He looks so loved, and he gives so much love in return." The post's caption read, "Our sweet boy, Gus, turned 9 yesterday, and our community absolutely surprised him with the best day ever. The furry guy was definitely the star of the party." It continued, "He has brought so much joy to so many people." Many people commented on how happy they were to hear about the party. One person said, "What a good boy. Happy birthday to the goodest of boys." Another said, "That's awesome. He looks like such a happy dog. Glad he had a great day." Someone else said, "That's so freaking cute." Before we move on, please take a moment to say a happy birthday to Gus in the comments section below. It's heartwarming to see how much Gus is loved by his community. Therapy dogs like Gus have been shown to reduce stress and anxiety in people of all ages. It's no surprise that Gus was given such a special birthday surprise. The moral of the story is that it's always nice to show appreciation for those who work hard to make a difference in our world. So let us all take a moment to appreciate the amazing Gus and all the therapy dogs out there, making a positive impact on our communities. If you enjoyed this heartwarming story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. This poor dog had been abused so badly that he became afraid of humans. But one patient woman didn't give up on him. And look at them now. This is a heart-wrenching story about a dog named Scooby-Doo. He was found abandoned and alone in a parking lot. It's hard to imagine how someone could do this to such a sweet boy. During that time, he had many run-ins with other animals, and that's how he ended up with those horrible wounds. It's safe to say that he didn't get the best care from his previous owner. So when he was taken to the vet, it was discovered that he also had heartworms. She had experience fostering dogs with behavioral problems. So when she saw Scooby-Doo, she knew she had to take him in. When they found him, he was extremely skinny, and all of his fur had fallen out in patches. After being abandoned, Scooby-Doo spent several months living on the streets. He would growl and snap if she got too close. But Laura didn't give up on him. She sat outside his kennel and talked to him every day. But even after all of that, no one wanted to adopt him. And today they are the best of friends. He's no longer the scared, abused dog that she first met. Thankfully, Scooby-Doo was taken in by a shelter where he received treatment for his wounds and heartworms. He's the happiest dog I know. After a while, one woman named Laura came to visit the shelter. It broke her heart to see him so scared, but she knew that she had to stay patient. And don't forget to subscribe for more heartwarming stories. At first, Scooby-Doo didn't want anything to do with Laura. Slowly but surely, Scooby-Doo started to warm up to Laura, but he still wasn't ready to be adopted. One day, Laura took Scooby-Doo for a walk in the park. He was on a leash, but he still wasn't comfortable around other people. She was so happy to see him playing with other dogs. For the first time in a long time, he looked like a happy dog. He still had a lot of anxiety, but he was getting better. A few weeks went by, and Scooby-Doo started to trust Laura more and more. Every time someone approached him, Scooby-Doo would try to hide behind Laura. As the months went by, Scooby-Doo started to become more social. One day, Laura decided to take Scooby-Doo to a dog park. It's been 2 years since Laura adopted Scooby-Doo. In an interview, Laura said, "I knew it would take time, but I never expected the progress he's made. Scooby-Doo is a true miracle. He's proof that with patience and love, anything is possible." If you have a friend who needs to hear this story, please share it with them.
The dog waited by his owner's hospital bed for 34 days, refusing to leave his side. The dog stayed with the man through thick and thin, even after he passed away. And now we know why. The dog waited by his owner's hospital bed for 34 days. This story will make you either laugh or cry. A dog waited patiently by his owner's hospital bed for 34 days without food or water, just so he could be by his side. The family didn't think he would make it, so they prepared him for the worst. He would stay by his bedside, refusing to eat or drink anything. All the dog wanted to do was be by his owner's side. The dog stayed in the hospital for 34 days, waiting for his owner to wake up. They wanted to give the dog a loving home where he could get the exercise, food, and water he needed. They'll stay with their owners through thick and thin, even if they're sick or injured. Even after he passed away, the dog was being loyal to his owner until the very end. Wang's family was touched by the dog's loyalty, so they decided to adopt him. Now the dog is living the life he deserves. Dogs can sense when their owners are feeling down, and they'll do anything to make them feel better. Now the dog is living the life he deserves, and he'll never have to be hungry or thirsty again. Even after he passed away, the dog was being loyal to his owner until the very end. Please know that it's okay to grieve the loss of your dog. Please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching. It's also okay to feel sad, angry, or even guilty. But please don't blame yourself. You did nothing wrong. Your dog loved you unconditionally, and you gave them a wonderful life. Be proud of that. Wang's family was touched by the dog's loyalty, so they decided to adopt him. Now the dog is living the life he deserves, and he'll never have to be hungry or thirsty again. The dog had no idea that his owner had already passed away. That's why he stayed by his side for so long. The dog was being loyal to his owner until the very end. During that time, he didn't get any exercise, food, or fresh water. But he didn't care about any of that. This story is a reminder that dogs are some of the most loyal animals on the planet. They'll stay with their owners through thick and thin, even if they're sick or injured. Dogs can sense when their owners are feeling down, and they'll do anything to make them feel better. All the dog was focused on was his owner. Before he went into surgery, he told his wife to take good care of their dog, Bowtie. If you've ever lost a dog, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I couldn't believe that I would never see his face or feel his wet nose against my hand again. But as time went on, the pain started to fade, and all I was left with were happy memories of my furry friend. The pain of losing a dog is just as real as the pain of losing a human. Dogs are more than just pets. They're members of our family. Little did he know that the dog would take care of him. When the man passed away, the dog stayed with him until his family arrived. But the reason why the dog did this is heartbreaking. It all started when the dog's owner, identified only as Wong, became seriously ill and was admitted to the hospital. Every day, Bowtie would go to the hospital to see his owner. When Wang's family saw how devoted the dog was to him, they couldn't help but feel touched. They knew that the dog was leaving his owner's side because he was hoping for a miracle. When they arrived at the hospital, they were shocked to see that the dog was still there. He hadn't left his owner's side even after he died. The dog waited by his owner's bed for 34 days, refusing to leave his side. The dog stayed with the man through thick and thin, even after he passed away. And now we know why. The family kept Wong in the hospital for 34 days, but unfortunately, he never woke up. After Wong passed away, his family went to the hospital to collect his things. The dog waited by his owner's hospital bed for 34 days. Wang's family was touched by the dog's loyalty, so they decided to adopt him. This story is a reminder that dogs are some of the most loyal animals on the planet. In this case, the dog stayed with his owner for 34 days, refusing to leave his side. And he'll never have to be hungry or thirsty again. In this case, the dog stayed with his owner for 34 days, refusing to leave his side. Dogs have a special bond with their owners, and that bond can last even after they pass away. When my dog passed away, I was heartbroken. If you're going through this right now, I hope you enjoyed this heartwarming story. If you did,
A small dog who had recently gotten adopted was so scared of his new surroundings that he ran away from his new home. He spent the night wandering around a busy city street, dodging cars and hoping to find his family. But this little guy didn't have the best luck. But this little guy was absolutely terrified of his new surroundings. He was pacing back and forth inside the house and just wouldn't calm down. He tried to get up, but his leg buckled beneath him and he collapsed again. They were asking if the dog was lost or if he had bitten anyone. When they saw how friendly he was, they started petting him. The dog was hesitant at first, but then he leaned into their touch. They asked around to see if anyone had lost a dog, but no one had, so they decided to take him to an animal hospital nearby to get him checked out. The dog was scared at first, but the people were all very nice to him and gave him lots of treats. At the hospital, the staff gave him the necessary medical attention and found a microchip. They were soon able to contact the owner and let them know that their dog had been found. The owner was so relieved and rushed to the hospital to pick him up. When they saw each other, the dog was so happy that he licked their face and wagged his tail furiously. The owner was so grateful to everyone who had helped their dog. They couldn't have done it without the kindness of strangers. The driver of the car got out to see if the dog was okay, but the scared pooch just kept yelping and trying to run away. The man tried to coax him with a kind voice and some pets, but the dog just kept backing away. Finally, The man gave up and went back to his car. The dog watched him go and then started to cry. He was all alone and hurt and didn't know what to do. His owner tried everything, but nothing seemed to help. Finally, the owner decided to take the dog for a walk outside. Maybe some fresh air would help him relax a bit. And that's when disaster struck. The dog managed to slip his leash and ran off down a busy street. And when he was almost hit by a car, he got even more frightened and started running down a dark alley. That's when he slipped and fell right into an open manhole. And when he looked up, he saw that it was very deep and there was no way he could get out. Luckily though, some people passing by heard him barking and called the police. They arrived quickly and were able to get the dog out of the hole, but they couldn't find his owner, so they took him to an animal hospital nearby to see if anyone would come looking for him. And thankfully they did. Hi, I'm here with the cutest and funniest animal videos. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more cuteness overload. This dog was really scared of his new surroundings. This dog was recently adopted and is now in a new place with lots of new things to see and explore. He ran as fast as he could, not stopping to look back. All he could think about was getting away from that scary noise. The cars zoomed past him, their horns honking. People walking on the sidewalk stared at him as he dodged their feet. The dog didn't care about any of it. He just kept running. He ran until he came to a dark alley between some buildings. It was quiet here, and the dog was exhausted, so he sat down to catch his breath. That's when he noticed a big, scary dog growling at him from the other end of the alley. The dog snarled and showed its teeth. The little guy was terrified. He turned and ran as fast as he could. He ran and ran until he reached the end of the alley. But as he came running out, a car was driving toward him. The driver slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The dog had already darted in front of the car and had been hit. The dog yelped and fell to the ground. He could feel blood coming from a wound on his leg. That's when he heard some people talking to each other.
This is the best reaction to snow that I have ever seen. Hello, everybody! A friend sent me this video of her puppy's first time playing in the snow, and I just couldn't stop laughing. You gotta watch this. Just the way that he's just moving around like there's no tomorrow. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a dog experiencing snow for the very first time. I don't even like snow, but if this is what it does to your dog, sign me up. I'm in. I would love this if we could just get more snow. But instead it's 90 degrees in Southern California. So we're not gonna get any of that. But I'm guessing it's pretty spectacular. Just like this golden retriever is showing us here. I mean, this is all that I want in life, honestly, is just to see a dog enjoying the snow. That is all that I could ask for. Look at him. Look at that little belly of his. Oh my gosh. The way that he is just going crazy and having the time of his life. Like I bet he smells like a little puppy and like wet dog, and I bet it's the most amazing thing ever. I just want to be a little puppy in the snow with no worries in the world. Look at him. If you need a laugh today, I know I do, then this should definitely do the trick. And then he runs off, and then he comes back like, more snow, please. He's like totally into it. Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing this video. Brittany, I needed that laugh. I'm sure you did, too. Look at him. Look at him go. Oh my God. That is the best. Look at him. He's like freaking out a little bit. This is what Look at him go. He is so cute. I just want to grab him and squeeze him. And look how far he goes. Then he just rolls over in it. Look at that little tail go. He's like a little kid. On any more. It's so not worth it. Oh my gosh. This is like the greatest thing ever. I was hoping that we were gonna get some rain last night, but instead we just had thunderstorms. But anyways, I just wanted to share this video because it made me laugh, and I hope that it makes you laugh. Oh my gosh, he is so cute. Just look at him. When he jumps up, he's like, woohoo. Then he just lays down and rolls around in it. I bet he smells so good, too. He's like freaking out because he's so happy. That was the best. If you need a good laugh, then make sure to watch this video right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.